You know, we talk a lot about polling here on the channel, but how does it actually work? I did an update video a little earlier today that talks about this, and we kind of talk about, well, nobody liked the Conservatives and people were kind of just waiting for a viable alternative for Trudeau. But how do you really explain the sudden shift? I mean, how do you really explain the Liberals gaining so much momentum so quickly? Well, we come right down here. We're still on CBC. These are all of their data points that they're using, or their polls that they're using to determine who they think might win, right? If you look here, if you look back into February, I mean, you've got a couple of polls. Sometimes you've got 2 polls running at a time. Sometimes you don't have any polls running at all. Sometimes you've only got 1 poll running. And these are polls that are ran outside of election time. So they're ran infrequently, and they aren't weighted as much. Now, I wish I did this weeks ago, because now it says 0. They're all weighted at 0. They're not given any weight at all. And these were a lot of the... this is mostly where the Conservatives are winning, right? Actually, I guess we're still... These are in March. Let's go back a little bit. Go back to February. This is where the Conservatives are winning. When we go back further than that, none of that data is being used at all. They are not taking any of it into account. That's what the zeros are. Okay? They don't care about it anymore because of the abundance of recent data. So you come up to here, and we're only using stuff as late as March 26th. This Leger poll is only being weighed for one point of weight, not very much. We go up, we see a lot more recent polls having much more weight. If you're wondering how the weight works, they determine weight by the date of the survey, so how recent it is, but also the sample size and the track record of the firm. So basically, how often does the firm get things right? With that shift in sentiment you saw towards the Liberals, as soon as they started polling higher than the Conservatives, all of that old data didn't matter anymore. So, I mean, obviously, the polls just represent people's opinions, and so people are just feeling better about the Liberals than they are about the Conservatives. But if you're wondering why they shifted so dramatically so quickly, part of that is just how they tab everything up. How these things are all calculated. Polling is not a perfect system, you know. But let's jump into this most recent poll from Mainstreet Research. Short little poll here by Mainstreet, doesn't go into much, just asks about parties and leaders. So this is Mainstreet's most recent polling. So unlike what we usually look at, this is an actual poll. We're typically looking at congregations of polling data, right? So we're looking at 338, we're looking at CBC. This is an individual poll. Mr. Carney is more liked than disliked, which is rare for politicians. Oh yeah, evening out between favorable and unfavorable, but having a bit more strongly unfavorable than strongly favorable, but only by a bit. Jagmeet, about 50% of voters have an unfavorable view of him. Only 10% have a strongly favorable view of Jagmeet Singh. Okay, we're looking at the Nanos poll. Also from the 9th to the 11th. Decided voters. 43% of decided voters voting for the Liberals, only 37 voting for Conservatives. As we mention every single time I talk about this, that means a lot more seats for the Liberals than it does for the Conservatives because of their vote efficiency. Quick ballot by region breakdown. Atlantic provinces always going strong, Liberal federally, and then Conservative provincially. About half the country prefers Mark Carney for Prime Minister over Poilievre. These are your preferred Prime Ministers by region. They've thrown in Alberta with the prairies in this one. But, to nobody's surprise, the prairies are the only province that Conservatives are leading in. Preferred Prime Minister by age and gender. Women really do not want Poilievre to be the Prime Minister. Old people want Carney to be the Prime Minister. Can't imagine why that might be. The more older you are, the more likely you are to be financially secure. No surprise that those people support Mark Carney. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what the polls are like. We could keep going, but you get the idea. Just wanted to make this short video to give you an idea about how the polls work, about what's in an average poll. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.